Hello, everyone. Today, I have a pleasure of speaking with Anja Torikka. Hello, Anja. Thank you
Hi.
for joining me here. It's really lovely to have this opportunity to speak with you, Anja. And we've known each other for quite a while, for the last few years.
Mhm.
And you are currently on the autumn cohort of trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. But we had the pleasure of working in trauma-informed yoga teacher training before. And well, let's start with really you introducing yourself and telling us about what you do, the work that you do, and a bit about the journey, how you ended up being where you are at and doing what you're doing. Because I know that you do a lot of different stuff.
I do, yes. It's lovely to be here and chat to you. Yeah, so I've was introduced to yoga over 30 years ago. I was taken to a yoga class by my mum and dad in my little village in my native Finland. So I'm from Finland. And it's been that kind of constant support pillar along my journey. And meanwhile, I've sort of de delved into different kind of modalities, learned about different things. And just over 10 years ago, I've did my yoga teacher training, which is just a stepping stone to this wonderful world of, different things. And so I trained as a mindfulness coach, yoga teacher. I've done lots of different CPD training. I'm someone who really enjoys learning new things and wanting to develop myself. Um, and I've had a lot of experience teaching yoga classes in studios and gyms and different environments. And as everyone's journeys evolve and change, and for me, it started with quite a physical connection to the yoga because yoga helped me support my physical training. I used to do a lot of running and rock climbing and things like that. But then coming into it, that kind of aspect of um, grounding has always been quite an important part in my life, and bringing myself back because I'm that kind of person. I get really excited about things, and it's great, but I need to remind myself to kind of come back and come back to my breath. So since now I live in the beautiful mid Wales, so for me, since my initial training and after the various training courses, I am a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. So I've trained in feng shui, in meridians and the 5 element theory, specialist in yin yoga and acupressure. And this is the kind of world that I connected with the most, because at the heart of it is nature connection. I grew up around forests and nature, and I've done this full cycle of coming back now that I live here in the hills of mid Wales. And that is at the heart of my work now. Everything starts with nature connection, seasonal cycles, and honoring that in ourselves. So that's kind of like, I guess it's a very brief summary of many things that I've done, and my offering has changed quite a lot. And I'm a lot online. I teach online. I love teaching online. I love that I have students from across the country and around the world. My mum joins from Finland, my classes, which was a big honor because my mum is a yoga teacher as well. And yeah, I teach seasonally now. So mainly very gentle movement, qigong, which is also from the traditional Chinese medicine, and yin yoga. And really is about the 3 layers of connection to self, connection to nature, and connection to others through that. So that's at the heart of my what I do. There are other things as well. As you
Mhm.
as you probably know, but I guess what I wanted to share here is, in addition to those, is my passion project. My passion project is women's confidence and inviting women to explore their authentic path. So I've just ran my first course based on that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So tell us more about this. Tell us more about your course and about your framework and how you work with women.
Yeah, so I actually the course I wrote it as the final assignment on the trauma informed yoga teacher training, which I did just over 2 years ago.
Mm.
And I wrote the course. I've always been sort of passionate about self-confidence because I've always had sort of low self-trust and low self-confidence. Um, been very much influenced by what's around me, like others and others' opinions or society's expectations. And I sort of lost the connection with myself and what's truly me. Um, and consequently, also when I was younger, I had an eating disorder, and that linked in with a lot of the sort of lack of self-confidence. So I through my practices, I find all these practices that I share on the course have really helped me really connect with myself, my authentic self, what is there rather than what's coming from here. And it's I developed it over the 2 years. I sat on it a little bit, then I developed it a little bit more, did some more learning. I'm a bit of a procrastinator, I admit that. But and then I was like, actually, you know what? I've looked at it, I thought this is a really good course. I really want to share this. So I put it out there and I run it for small groups of women. I had 6 women. It's all online. And it's over 7 weeks. So it's quite a shortish course. So there's 6 live sessions. So 3 sessions, a break, and another 3 sessions. Live sessions online. There is always recorded bonus material. Everyone gets also a 30-minute one-to-one before and after. And the
Mm.
course follows the sort of seasonal well-being model.
Mm.
So it's a
I
really
love that. I love that. And there is something that you just said that I really want to pick up on.
Hmm.
That you said, oh, I sat on it for 2 years and I'm a bit of a procrastinator. And I'd like to just offer you a little reframe in here,
Hmm.
because actually, with stuff like this, offerings like this that come from our soul, they have to mature. They're a little bit like plants, isn't it? You plant the seed, you nurture it, and then there is that time for it to become ready and
Yeah.
for you to become ready.
Yeah,
2 years,
absolutely.
it's actually not that long, creating a course and then stepping into it. So congratulations on running your
Thank
course. It sounds
thank
absolutely amazing. And it's such a wonderful reflections of your own journey and
mm,
the kind of core values and the priorities that are very important for you, that come not just from your training but from your lived experience and from all the trainings that you've done in the past, kind of bringing it all together,
yeah, that's how it
creating
felt.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it felt for me when I ran the course. It's just finished the first group. I've just finished, but it's only really just the beginning. I can still see the connection in the WhatsApp group, and there's been a lot of connections being made because I'm a bit of like that. I love bringing people together. I love connecting
Mm.
people, and into this sort of safe environment to explore. But yes, I agree, and I'm a bit like when I have an idea, I have to get it straight out. It's like, oh, this idea, I'm going to put it out. But it felt really good to really sort of have that time, and I think that's the biggest shift that has happened to me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So can I ask a little bit about the current training? Because
Yeah, of course.
I know for you it was the last moment decision, and we just kind of had a bit of a conversation, didn't we?
Yeah,
About you saying I'd love to sign up, but there were some
yeah,
objections, and then you decided to sign up. And so I want to ask, why did you sign up for the training? Because you already did the trauma informed yoga with me. You've done lots of other trainings. You
yeah.
created your course. You only needed to kind of run it. So
Yeah.
what was that kind of final thing that prompted you to sign up?
I think it was that I wanted to really deepen and it was the coaching side because I don't have experience or training in it. So that was the final sort of push into it. I had a big sort of shift in my life last autumn, kind of August, September time, and it was just a perfect timing. I knew since I read about the training that it's something I wanted to do. So I put it on my sort of list of courses to do in the future. And it was kind of one of those that I really, really wanted to do. I really wanted to do it. But I thought, I'm not sure, is it the right time? Because when I do something like that, I put my everything into it and I want to give it time. And then I realized actually, I do have the time. So it was just kind of that it just felt right. And I know we talk about this on the course, that kind of felt sense, which is kind of you can't really explain. It just felt right. It felt, and once I signed up, which was the day before the course started, um, I knew straight away it was like this joy and this sense of yeah, it just felt really right to do for me.
It's difficult to describe that
Yeah.
feeling sometimes, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like you know it through every cell of your body, and then
Yeah.
there's that joy that you are talking about. But what was it? And I completely relate to that feeling.
Mm.
What was it that made you interested in that course? Was there any specific parts of the material or something about its run? What was the kind of initial pull towards it?
Yeah, of course, because I worked with you before, I knew that you create amazing courses and amazing content. I think it was the two words really, if you look at the title, it was the somatic and the coaching. So it was the coaching aspect of it and also the way the way it was described. Like I don't you say on the course, like, you don't want us to, as the participants, to copy what you say or copy what you do or show that you do exactly. You teach us the method and then allow invite us. Sorry, let's use that word. Invite us to make it our own, and that was really important for me. Like that stood out that this is like I'm learning this skill and the way to coach, and then I can make it my own and fit it into my values and my beliefs. And then the somatic side, because I've always been interested a little bit more in the sort of deepening the nervous system, understanding the nervous system, and um, I think also sometimes it gives me that sort of prompt to study more outside as well, other materials. So yeah, those two things were really it's the main thing.
Mm. As a participant, I'm quite curious about what you will say. As a participant of somebody that did the trauma-informed yoga, which was the 80-hour or
Mhm.
50-hour training with me, and now doing this training, uh, would you say that the coaching training goes much deeper into the nervous system and into the somatics?
Very much so. Yes. I feel like the trauma-informed yoga teacher training was a really great sort of introduction. It gave me those kind of little snippets, but I feel like this is so much more. This is much, much deeper, much obviously it's much longer as well. So I love the first course, but also I have to say, like, I wasn't it I'm I have that time and space now to really go into this subject, but I do feel like there's a lot more space to explore on this course. I do feel very different from the first course was excellent. It was almost like I feel like that was like an introduction to the subject, and this is like that diving in into the
I loved that. I love that when people like you who trained in the other training come on this one because yeah, you had the foundations, but now you can go so much deeper. which is amazing. And actually seeing that where you are now within that journey, it's really quite fascinating for me.
It was quite quite sort of, when I say fast, but quite quick shifts for me. And I think also signing up last minute, because I had done the previous course, it did help the start because there was familiarity. But I'm personally don't mind going through some bits that are repetition because I think it's really good. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, great. So how has your experience been of the training? I mean, what are the kind of things that really stood out for you, that really landed well or resonated?
Yeah, so I don't know even where to start. So it's been quite a life-changing journey for me, personally and also professionally. But it all starts from my personal practice. I think the biggest things have been that whilst I've always had a personal practice, it's never been as well, I don't know what word to use. So sometimes my my English words go missing. The practices for me, my own practice has changed, and that has changed the way I present myself, the way I lead my life, and how I run my business as well. Um, and I mean, following this course as well, I work fewer hours, but I actually earn more, which is like, yeah, it's like, how did that happen? I was always in this kind of pushing, striving more. And I was like, and I suffered from these burnout cycles and thinking like something is not quite right here. And
Mm,
it's all comes from that, like, whilst I had my, like I said, I had my practice, but it didn't quite go as deep as it does now. Um, and there's been many shifts within me, which have been, yeah, huge.
I love that. I love what you just said. You know, we talk about this a lot on the training, that it starts within you.
Yeah.
And once you do that, and you know, the work that you do, you know, that
Mm.
confidence and the self-trust, it
Yeah.
all starts within. Like so often we try to fix outside and do it
Yeah.
from outside, but actually it all comes from within. So I'm really interested. What changes have you noticed? I mean, the change that you already mentioned, like I work less, I earn more. I work online, you know, it's like it's really doing the stuff that you love, doing that course that you love, that comes from real alignment of your soul and your purpose and what's most important. Is there anything else that you notice in the way that you work?
I whilst I was using the sort of trauma-informed language and way of teaching, um, if I talk about my actual classes that I teach, they have changed through this practice, a little bit. Um, I guess in a way that, well, I'm students, if you're listening, I'm experimenting the practices on my students, which has been really great because there's been a lot of good feedback as well. I'm bringing more, yeah, it's hard to explain, but yeah, I think those shifts are so subtle, um, but they are big. They have a big impact on the classes and on my students. And I'm certainly bringing, I think for me, the big thing is because I'm a proper, I care and I'm very empathetic. I give and I want to help people. That's at the heart of what I do. It's like I want to help people feel well.
Mm,
But with that, for me came the sense of needing to fix and realizing that that's not actually, I want to help people help themselves. So I just want people to feel how I feel and not like, the same, but you know what I mean? Like, I want this kind of, I have this sense in me that I'm really living my authentic life and I'm loving it. Of course, there are bad days and things like that. That's just life. But yeah, I think it's at the moment we're kind of halfway through the course. I'm still kind of exploring what the big shifts are. But yeah, that's maybe a bit of a garbled explanation.
No, I think that's great. And I think that's how change happens. You know, that when we are in this kind of messy middle, that we are trying things out and we are finding our own language and we are finding the way that we want to do it. And, you know, the mind is still a bit confused. You know, it's very easy once we've gone through transformation to look back and name all of those things. But when you're still in the middle of it, it all feels kind of quite fresh and like you are experimenting.
Yeah,
Trying.
I am. And I think
That's
the
great.
nervous system side, I've definitely brought that more into my teaching and to my clients. So yeah. Yeah.
So can I ask you, one of the things that I noticed with the training cohorts for the big training is that sense of community.
Hmm.
And you know, many women talk about, I guess in a little bit of a surprised way,
Hmm.
how safe it feels and how supportive it feels to be within that community. So I wonder whether you could speak about your own experience of it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was actually quite surprised because I've never been sort of really comfortable in, well, bigger groups. I think there's 12 on our course, um, of women, apart from, teaching yoga, but being part of this sense of, sharing. I've never been someone, even though I can talk, I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing, but in this, it was quite amazing how from the start there was a real sense of connection within the group, and and that shifted for me quite a lot as well, rather than, I don't know about you, but when I'm in a group and I have to, well, I don't have to say something, but I feel like, yeah, okay, I'm constantly thinking like, and I'm a bit nervous, and I'm going to say something, but it didn't feel like that at all in this. It felt like, and there's a real sense of being present from the people in the group and really listening. And that's part of the learning. That's part of what we're going to be doing. We're
Yeah.
going to be talking to women and really kind of like listening and being present in that moment. So I think that was quite a big part of it for me, that how much I loved it and how much I loved listening to the women's stories and their shifts and I wanted to know more. So
Mm.
that's
I
one big.
love that. You described it so well. So well. It is part of the learning. I mean, it is, you know, to be able to listen to somebody, as people call it, deep listening, but really deep embodied listening, where you are practicing, you know, but also being present
Yeah.
and practicing the stuff that we were learning. You know, how do you listen to somebody not through what they say, but also through their body language, nonverbal communication, and, you know, what is their state, you
Mm,
know, understanding what state they are in and what it's telling you about their experience in the present moment, and that co-regulation piece.
absolutely.
It's all of those are kind of not easy things if you haven't done it in that way before, that require
Mhm.
us to practice.
But
Yeah.
that's been taken to the outside world. Like I
Yeah.
noticed that I'm observing people and just looking more, even in a group setting, like you talked about, asked about how it's changed my teaching or my work. It's as well when I come to a group, even in a group setting, you can observe and get that energy or that idea of, and sometimes, what I've planned to do completely changes based on how people present in front of me. And it has really helped. The other big thing for me has been boundaries. It's really helped with that boundaries as well, that, you know, um, there are all these little things that are coming together. So it's really been really great.
I love that. I love that. Boundaries are a big thing for those of us who really care, who have got so much empathy, who really want to make that positive impact, and yet somehow along the line we kind of, forget about ourselves and our needs and how to honor our needs. Yeah.
Okay.
So tell me, of course, it's for me, it's always really, you mentioned that earlier. For me, it's always like really exciting to see, like, where are you taking it? Like, what are your ideas? I mean, I know that you created the course, that you're running the course, but
Yeah.
what are the kind of those little seeds that you are planting right now for the future?
I mean, this course is sort of at the start. I just ran the pilot course, and it sort of sits, I describe it as it sits between yoga and coaching. It's not really quite coaching. So we're going through the five elements. So we're doing breathing practices, we're doing movements, we're doing qigong in yoga, journaling, meditation, lots of different meditations like metta meditation. So there's a lot of that traditional side as well. Um, but I think definitely I'm developing this course even further. I'm absolutely loving this. So I feel like I said earlier, it's my passion project. So I'm definitely sort of my next course starts on the 22nd of April, and I still have some spaces. Sneaky thing. But yes, and then in the autumn, I probably sort of see how it shifts, see how where this course takes me, but also have some other little ideas on. And I love working online because I live in rural Wales. It's nice to be able to share wider through this amazing the magic of Zoom. And
Mm.
um
And
I
are you going to, because I know that we just are doing the module on archetypes.
yes.
And I
I
know
was
that you love archetypes. I know that you love that kind of methodology that
yeah,
comes from your culture and
yes,
that you feel quite passionate about. Is that going to be part of your
yes.
coaching
So
training when you kind of bring other
yeah.
things into it?
Yeah, so I'm really closely linked to my Finnish heritage and the mythology and folklore from my home country, plus the Celtic mythology and folklore. And um, I already sort of at the time of recording, it's the spring equinox, so these kind of times are very important, these turnings of the wheel, and yes, I am currently doing a lot of further studying into that. And I want to bring that into my offering as well. So all these kind of, that kind of sense of belonging as well, that's kind of important. And we have this amazing inner wisdom that we can tap into. And yeah, a lot of magic and mythology coming.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that. And I think, this is what I'm hearing you say is just this missing element for so many practitioners
Hmm.
of trying to be very general and trying to do things as other people are doing. That goes for coaches, that goes for yoga teachers, that goes for other wellness practitioners, rather than actually doing what you are talking about, which is bringing all of it together,
Hmm.
mixing it all up, integrating it all, and actually making it your own,
Yeah.
which creates something so unique. Then the competition doesn't exist because,
True.
nobody will create exactly the same mix.
Mm.
And that's where you can really step into your authenticity.
Absolutely.
Like that feels aligned. That feels really amazing. I feel so passionate about it and I want to share it because I know how deeply transformational it is.
It is amazing. And that's, I think, the heart of what I teach as well. It's not like I'm teaching you this is the truth. I always say to my students, like, these are just some ideas and these are just some snippets of wisdom that have been passed through generations and that have helped me personally on my journey. If something resonates with you, take that. If something doesn't, leave that aside. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be like this blinkered eyes, this is the path, this is the way, because everyone has their own journey. So it's just about sharing the tools and yeah, making them your own.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a beautiful, gentle, feminine way rather than my way is the only way.
I think I run away
I
if
do
I
it.
go to a session like that. So yeah, a lot of the women on the course, they're still chatting on the WhatsApp group, and there's been a lot of those little shifts and connections, and everyone seems to be picking slightly different
Different,
things.
yeah.
Obviously, they're all their own amazing selves.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So thank you so much. The
Thank
future
you.
seems exciting and really, really amazing. And can I ask just one last question before I ask you to share where people can find you?
Yes, of
If
course.
somebody was watching or listening to this conversation and they were curious about the training, the Trauma Informed Somatic Teacher and Coach
Yeah.
for Women training certification, and they were kind of like, oh, I don't know, shall I not? Is there a piece of advice that you would give to them?
Just do it. I think that's kind of obviously for me, it was like a last minute decision. But I would say just listen to that. If there is curiosity within you, there's clearly something there that is calling you to for this course. There's something. So I would really invite to listen to that and listen to that sort of that felt sense that we talked about, because there's a reason why we gravitate towards things. There's a reason why we find something interesting. And I would 100% say that you won't regret it. It's amazing. And that the other thing that I haven't said yet is I think the pace of the course is amazing. There's no kind of huge pressure on, and it's that because the whole point of this course is about that nervous system friendly practicing a nervous system friendly way. And if there was massive pressure on this and that and assignments and submitting and this, it would go against that. Of course, there is that learning and there are those assignments, but it's done in a really, really gentle way, which is what I love. Sorry, that was a really long answer to that question.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So, where can people find you? They're interested, connecting with you online or signing up for your course. How can they
Yeah.
find you?
I already did that sneaky advert there in between. I'm not very, the one thing, I'm not very good at selling myself, but yes, if you are interested, I'm Anja Yoga, ANJA Yoga, on Instagram, and on Facebook is Anja T Yoga, ANJA T for Tango Yoga. And my website is anjayoga.co.uk. Anja
Love
with a
that.
J, because I get a lot of versions of my name, surprisingly. And yes, I have all my offerings there, and you can get in touch via the website.
Wonderful. And I will share the link to your website as
Thank you.
well so people can find you really easily. Thank you so much, Anja.
Thank
It's been
you.
a pleasure speaking with you, and it's always a huge pleasure working with you and seeing, how you are bringing your gifts to the world and sharing them and making that huge positive impact.
Thank you. That means the world to me. Thank you.